In March of 2020, a lot of us started on our new journey and our next chapter in life of teaching virtually at home. Whoever would have thought that teachers and educators will be instructing students from home? So, I would like everybody to sit back and relax as we dive into, are you engaging in virtual learning? These are online platforms you can use for your virtual learning experiences. Google Classroom allows teachers to set up a virtual classroom with assignments and due dates in one place. Google Classroom also lets you upload assignments as links, Google Forms, and Google Drawings. Google Voice Number gives you a private number from your Gmail account for communications that are transferred to your cell phone. You can also call directly from the Chromebook. Class Dojo communicates with parents, behavior tracking, incentives, and turns student work in. Zoom and Google Meets allow teachers to have face-to-face meetings with students. Set your schedule of meetings to fit the needs of your students. I chose to meet once a day in the beginning, and after 2 weeks, I increased the face-to-face meetup to twice a day for 45 minutes each. Some teachers taught for 45 to 90 minutes and kept the Zoom or Google Meet meeting up and running to assist students who may need help or have questions. So when you're using Zoom or Google Meet, the main thing is communicate your expectations to your parents and your students and let them know how long the student is going to be online. What are your reasons for engaging in face-to-face meeting? Instruction, keeping a connection with your students, social emotional, to keep students in a routine of seeing their friends and teacher, schedule a time for learning, or just to check in and see how they are doing with home learning and ask how they are feeling. Make sure expectations, meeting schedule, and purpose is explained to caretakers and students before the first meeting takes place, and again on the first, second, and third day of your Zoom or Google Meet sessions. Welcome to virtual learning. In my experience of giving my students learning opportunities virtually through Google Meets twice a day for 30 to 45 minutes, I encountered situations like the ones in the picture. Students are laying in the bed. The puppy Precious joined us in class for several days. Children in the chair relaxing and meeting the adorable twin brothers or younger siblings joining in. This called for the need of virtual learning expectations to eliminate some situations that can occur. Remember, we're learning at home, so there are some things that can go on in the background that you have no control over. But some of these situations in the picture, I'm going to show you how I have a plan for eliminating some of them for the upcoming school year in the next couple of weeks. Here we go. These are the expectations I am using for the 2021 school year to address behaviors seen online with students during my Google Meets for 8 consecutive weeks. We also need to remember not all students have an adult reminding them of respectful behavior while online or facing people in Zoom calls or Google Meets. For this experience is still new to many of us. Many of us will start the year off with students we have never seen before. So it is crucial to have expectations, rules, procedures, and routines for virtual learning. Run your virtual classroom like you run your physical classroom. I will also consider adding an entire expectation for face-to-face meetings unless it is a spirit day. These are the expectations that work for me. However, you may need to change them to fit your students. Same learning situations in brick and mortar as virtual learning, just a different method of delivery. This presentation will give ideas on how you can teach virtually as if you were in the classroom. Rather than recording yourself teaching every little bitty thing that you have to teach in every subject, consider using videos to explain the concept or record yourself and share the link to the students. That way, if they don't sign on to your Google Meet or your Zoom class, they can always go back and rewatch the link when they need it, or if they don't understand, they can go back and rewatch the link again. Keep the same daily schedule you follow in brick and mortar settings. Communicate expectations for special area classes like art, music, physical education, and library. Meaning, if you go to art on Monday, you go to art on Monday when you are learning virtually. Assignments should be in formats that students understand and know how to do on their own. You are going to have to model, rehearse, and practice all of the different formats you're going to use in assigning work for virtual learning. This time around, we're going to have students that we may not have ever met before, so it's going to be very important that, again, we practice, rehearse, and model before we expect them to be able to do the assignment independently. I learned you have to give clear, very detailed instructions when you are teaching virtually. For example, in brick and mortar, I could say read pages 34 to 40 in your reading book. It's easy for in-person learning because students can ask questions if they do not understand or ask for the directions to be repeated. Online, virtual learning assignments need to be written like this. Read page 34 to 40 in the book Educators Rock. When finished, click the green square-shaped link entitled Monday Reading Assignment. The clearer you are in your directions, the better the students are going to understand and be able to complete what you have asked them to do. A morning meeting is a group meeting to start the day on a positive note with the whole class every morning. During virtual learning, I only use the greeting, activity, and message part of morning meeting. They were done using a Google form. The greeting, activity, and sharing period can also be done face-to-face during a Google Meet or Zoom call. Students with no devices at home can call the teacher using the teacher's Google Voice number. The Google Voice number can be used for students to share and check in if they do not have a device at home. Morning messages can be completed on a Google form or Google Docs or answered in an email. I use these as questions on the Google Classroom platform. If the student lacks a device, they can write their response on paper and take a picture and email it to the teacher using a cell phone, or they can call you on your Google Voice number. So these are just examples of morning messages that the students can answer. One is you are stranded on an island with 3 items which you need to survive. Another one is you're going on a picnic, bring something that starts with the letters in your first name. A lot of these morning messages are messages to allow the students to think critically, because even though we're in virtual learning, we still want them to be critical thinkers, be able to communicate and collaborate with others. Word searches can be used as an activity or do now during virtual learning. If you have an annotation app like Cami, this can be done online and submitted back to the teacher through email or Google Classroom, or a student takes a picture and emails or uploads to the class portfolio on Class Dojo. Students must first add the Cami extension to their Chromebooks in order to use it. Then the teacher must say in her directions, open using the Cami extension. When I use this as a do now, I type the instructions at the top. As you can see, type the first two words you see in the chat. Sometimes I have a word bank, sometimes I do not. So this is just an idea of how you can use a word search in your virtual learning during your morning meeting time. Scavenger hunts are activities that students can use during virtual learning to get them up and moving. This particular scavenger hunt is one that you can do indoors, or you could also do it outdoors. There are zillions of these floating around online, and I just chose this to use as an example. Scavengers hunts can also be used in the content area, and they can also be used to develop students' critical thinking. When you look at the first one where it says find something that makes you happy, they have to make a decision on what they are going to pick. When I use this in virtual learning, I let them know that we're going to have a scavenger hunt today, and I give them like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to find something in the house, and they bring it back to the screen and we share it for everybody to see, and they go back and do another one. This particular scavenger hunt, the first one has 9 things to find. You can do all 9 on one time, or you can divide it up. It is your choice. Again, this is to keep them moving and to make them think critically. This is a content area scavenger hunt, and this is one that I will use for younger students, like in kindergarten, first grade, or second grade. But again, if you just want to have some fun and do an activity with them, you could use it for upper elementary students too. Students find objects that begin with each letter of the alphabet and show it to their classmates on a Zoom or Google Meet call, or take pictures of the items and email it to the teacher. Students can also write words and sentences that tell what they learned in science, math, or social studies. Can also be used to assess language skills. Have students write words in different categories for each letter, such as nouns, verbs, fruit, places, proper nouns, and content vocabulary. Virtual classroom activities for Zoom and Google Meet. More activities like this can be found on YouTube and Teachers Pay Teachers. I try to do an activity daily at the beginning to keep the students engaged and happy. In the fall, I plan to still do at least one activity a day. Fun Friday was every Friday. I assigned the activities under the topic Fun Friday in Google Classroom. I also had them complete a Google Forms summary of the day to gauge their feelings of the work I assigned. I also asked what activity they liked and what they needed help on. I also asked them what activity they did not like or an assignment they did not like and why. I will use that feedback to tailor my assignments in the future. When they needed help, I assigned them extra work in that area. VIP guests or speakers who join our meetups and speak to the students on their career choices for 7 to 10 minutes on a Friday usually. The students submit 3 questions ahead of time they would like to ask the VIP before the meeting. This helps them with their writing and speaking and listening skills, and it also gives me an opportunity to make sure their questions are appropriate and they are written correctly, and the students get feedback. And from the feedback, they can pick which one question they want to ask the VIP. Sample social emotional check-in I use using Google Forms. This was their first assignment, an attendance check for the day. I also counted this as an assignment. It also helped me to see how they were feeling and if I needed to follow up with their parents and the counselor. Students are given entry tickets as they arrive at the door. Entry tickets are an effective strategy for monitoring student learning by introducing or reviewing instruction. During virtual learning, assign entry slips as the student's first assignment of the day. Students answer the question as soon as they first sign on to Google Classroom and look at their assignment. I did this on a Google form, or sometimes they replied in the chat part of Google Meets. They can email the answers to you, or the teacher sends the link to a Google form or reply in the chat just to you versus to everyone. So this is one way that you can use an entry slip, which is also called a do now or a entrance slip. Why use exit slips? They provide an informal measure of how well students have understood a topic or lesson. They help students reflect on what they have learned. If questions are typed in a Google form, it can be set up as a self-graded quiz. I will also use these to assess informally on Fridays. Usually, I had 5 to 7 questions on what was covered that week. The difference between an entrance slip and an exit slip is when it is given during the teaching of your content area. Padlet allows the teacher to type a question on a blank wall space and students respond. All students can see the responses in real time, so it allows you to be able to have a discussion and see what your students are thinking. Zoom breakout rooms allow the teacher to assign breakout rooms that teachers control and assigns students and the length of time with a visible timer. So you can send students to a breakout room for a 5-minute discussion or even a 10-minute discussion. Consider a breakout room a small group of students. Google Hangouts works the same way, except the teacher needs to assign the groups ahead of time and tell the students what groups to go to. The students can set the groups up for themselves. This works well if you want to continue small group instruction. The teacher can join the rooms and the Hangouts. Website usage for students and teachers. Check to see if any websites are prohibited by your school district for students before you assign work from those websites. Teachers can always present their screens to the students if a website is blocked on the student side. Example, in my district, students cannot use YouTube. However, a lot of our curriculum slides and videos are embedded in YouTube, so we can't use them. So we end up having to present our screen to the students so they can view the video. Compile a list of all students' usernames and passwords for websites and their Chromebooks. Virtual tip: give students the same username and password for all online websites. I give them their first initial, last name, and grade for username, and the password is a color plus a room number. Practice using the chat feature with students on Zoom or Google Meet before the first session. And also, before you have your first Google Meet or Zoom call with your students, practice with your teacher bestie, and also sign in on a student side so you can see what it looks like and you'll be ready and prepared. Websites for academic. IXM and Vocabulary have videos and assignments in language arts, math, science, and social studies. You can assign the skills that you want the students to work on, and those two particular websites let you know what assignments they completed, when did they complete it, and it also scores them for you, so that will help you to be more productive. Flipgrid is a application that students can create videos on any topic that you choose. The videos have to be at least 30 seconds to 5 minutes long. You also have the option to upload links and resources to the Flipgrid to help them create a video on whatever you want them to do. You can also do a Flipgrid on a get to know you activity. One that I always do is a me in the bag. The students can videotape themselves talking about themselves and the objects they have in a bag that describes about them. The other one is ReadWorks. ReadWorks is reading comprehension, it's passages and questions. The questions are multiple choice or constructive response, and ReadWorks grades it for you too. And all of these can be integrated into Google Classroom if that's the platform that you use. These are some more websites that you can use during your instruction for virtual learning. These are pretty much science. Mystery Doug is a subscription. Look it up online, sign up for it. They send you a video every Monday that you can show to your students on some kind of science concept. Crash Course Kids Science, you can find those on YouTube. They have a lot of videos on different subjects in science. Wonderopolis, they give you a wonder of the day. Like the one this week was, I wonder why people jump double dutch. After they watch the video, it's a passage. They highlight vocabulary. They read the passage, and then at the end, they have a 3 or a 4 question quiz that the students can take. National Geographic Kids, it gives you information about animals. They also have activities and other things that you can explore on the site. While on virtual learning, students still need to be reading. Epic has videos, ebooks, books that they can read on their own, or books that they can read to them. They have a free site that the students can use during the school day. If they want to use it at home, parents have to sign up for that, and it was a fee. But during the pandemic, the fee was waived until June the 30th. Not sure what they're going to do for the upcoming school year. Storyline Online is produced by the Screen Actors Guild. You have actors and actresses reading different books to students. Brain Pop Junior. Brain Pop Junior is from like kindergarten to 3rd grade. Brain Pop is 4th grade and up. Math Games is just a website where you can play different games on different skills and standards in math. Math games are one of those websites that I use on Fun Friday when I want them to play games. I also have used Brain Pop on Friday, Epic, and Storyline Online. So these are some different websites that you can use to help you with your virtual learning with your students.
Math websites for instruction. Number Rock Videos, Khan Academy, Study Jams, is math and science videos and quizzes. Ducksters is a search engine made for elementary students with games, activities and passages. Multiplication.com has games for students to play, paid and free games.
Number Rock math videos, they're excellent. Number Rock, you find the skill that you're teaching, they watch the video. If they didn't understand, they can go back and watch the video. If you want to do it while you're working with them face to face, you can present your screen. If they do not have a Chromebook, you can watch Number Rock videos on your cell phone. Multiplication.com, it is free for part of it. The free version does at least let everyone have a username and password, and they can practice playing on the games. Khan Academy, Study Jams, Math and Science. Ducksters is like a research site for children. It's like a kid encyclopedia. They have games, they have logic puzzles, they have a whole lot on their site. Well, let's say you want to do multiplication.com or you wanted to do IXL. You could
YouTube for videos in all subjects. Kami, an annotation app that allows students to write on PDFs. Kahoot, students can play games in all content area as challenges virtually. Teacher assigns game along with start and end date. Screencastify allows you to video your screen then send link to students.
Teacher organization. Teachers will need a grid sheet with students' name in alpha order for record keeping. You're going to need a class list with birthdays, emails, usernames and password, addresses and parent contact information. So you want to keep that very close to you. Recognize students' birthday during virtual learning. Send an e-card or small token in snail mail. Make sure you have the websites for your teacher guides to your curriculum and you have registered for those sites. If able, provide and deliver goodie bags to students with supplies they would need to be successful at home with virtual learning. Those supplies can be school supplies, they could be math manipulatives, might be a workbook they need, anything that you think that they're going to need to be successful for virtual learning at home. Notify families weekly to keep them updated on virtual learning. Notify families at the beginning of virtual learning of your expectations. Also explain how virtual learning will work for their child's class. Send parents positive messages on when students complete all of their work for the day or turn all work in on time. Student rewards can be sent by email for being on time to meetups, completing all assignments, Kahoot challenge winners, read the most minutes on epics. Rewarding students helps them to stay focused and participate more during virtual learning, and it also increases the student engagement. These are pictures showing the engagement. These are things that they could do online. They could make a sun using things that they have at home. And the other picture shows items that I gave them for them to participate in virtual field day and the end of the year party. We had snacks. Their snacks were in the bag. Offer incentives for virtual learning, such as signing in on time, completing work by deadlines, participation online. Hold a virtual open house with the same information you will present in brick and mortar, but you might have to tweak it a little bit for virtual learning. This is very important to have the open house because this is where you're going to set your expectations, introduce yourselves to your parents, etc. And this is going to be their first time meeting you. So your open house presentation should be very detailed and engaging. Students with no devices can do the same assignments. However, they will need to call the teacher on the cell phone or check-ins and take pictures of work and submit by email from a cell phone, or have them FaceTime or Skype if they need help with work. Packets can also look just like assignments online, or you can create workbooks for all students to use during virtual learning for those who might not have a device or internet at home. This is how you can reach me. If you have questions or you just want to stop by and say hello, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for your attendance today. It was a pleasure sharing with you the presentation, Are You Engaging in Virtual Learning? Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your time at the Rock Conference. Are You Engaged? Fun and engaging activities to boost achievement is a guide for first-year teachers, novice and seasonal teachers who want to create a classroom full of fun, excitement, and engaging activities while boosting student achievement. This book covers the essentials of a classroom management plan, building relationships with students, and activities to use in your lesson plan. Go to my website under Contacts to get your autographed copy sent to you. These resources can help you plan for the upcoming school year. They can be found on Teachers Pay Teachers website in my TPT store called Teachable Resourceful Learners. Thank you for attending today. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe, wear a mask, practice social distancing, and wash your hands. Have a blessed day.